It's true. I'm thinking of shutting down my tanks. Not all of them, just a lot of them. And I'll explain why. Not this one. I've just set this tank up. So let me show you. I'm not going to be shutting this tank down. I'm going to be adding to this tank. I'm thinking of adding a few more species to it. Next I'm thinking of adding either my wabber muster, honeycomb, bristlenose plecos. I'm thinking of putting a pleco caves down the corner under the leaf litter, or maybe my peppermint bristlenose. But I'm definitely thinking of putting a bristlenose here and then adding some cories in here, and then eventually when the tank's matured a bit, I'm thinking of adding some checkerboards into here and just running it as like a blackwater tank, like an Amazonian tank. That's the name of the tank in my mind's eye, the Amazonian tank. This one I'm not too sure about. I really enjoyed setting it up and stuff, and obviously I've kind of hybrided the Walstad method with a high-tech system. I obviously fertilise, dose. I haven't even tried to balance it, so there's like bits of algae everywhere, but I've just pushed for maximum growth out the plants. But as I say, it's dated, it's got sphagnum, peat moss, organic topsoil and agricultural grit underneath, an inch and a half of it, and then an inch cap of pea gravel, and then it's got a load of crypts and crenum. There's a couple of pontiacetans in here growing away slowly. This massive Amazon sword's exploded, and what else is in here? I've got some like pink flamingos down there. It's a cool tank, but I'm not really achieving anything with it. I wanted to push plant growth and it's all exploded, so I'm thinking of maybe putting me Goyder River rainbow fry in here. Not all of them, maybe a third, half, growing them out, and then putting some in my Walstad tank. I've just come out, my pond's got a split in it. I wouldn't recommend keeping one of these ponds if this is what's going to happen. So I started filling it back up, and then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to whip the goldfish out of it and get it in the fish tank. So Pinky's in here. I lost Perky, I lost the brain, everything that I nicknamed that rhymes with this one doesn't seem to do very well. So there's my goldfish, it's Pinky. I lost Perky and I lost the brain. Every time I name a goldfish with a similar name to Pinky, it goes Pete Tong for them. So I'm just gonna keep this in here, and like there's nowhere else to put it. So Pinky's gonna have to live in here for now. And there's tons of guppy and guppy fry in here. Now, don't be eating me baby guppies. No, don't be eating them. So here's my Walstad tank. Nothing's happening to this tank. I want to keep this tank. I love this tank. I want it to run for years. I need to deal with the snails. Snail population's kicked off again, and they've nailed all me dwarf lilies that were doing amazing. They've nailed all them. There's one there floating. Anyone want a dwarf lily? This series gone dead. I need to get in here and pull all the val out of this section, because there's a pontiacetans at the back. There's bits and pieces all over here that I don't want it all darkening out. What I want to do is get rid of all this duckweed. I might pop the goldfish in here for a bit and get rid of all the duckweed. That's a good idea. This tank I'm absolutely sick of looking at. I think it's rubbish, and it's a 5-foot tank, so I'm going to change it like right now. So I've set up this. It's a 5-foot frontosa tank. It's a fish that I absolutely love. I was on Paul's YouTube video the other day talking about frontosa and how much I love them, and I used to keep them. And I've set up a new tank, and I'll explain what's going on and why. What it is I moved into this house and started setting tanks up, set this fish room up. Obviously I hate the room, so I was thinking to myself, well, I need to pack as many tanks in here as I can to like value for money kind of thing. Like the more tanks I put in here, the less per tank I'm spending heating them. I don't enjoy a lot of the tanks I've got. I got into YouTube and I was thinking, I didn't really have any ideas for the tanks, so I just set up tanks, and then I had tanks that I needed stocking, so I just kind of stocked them with stuff that I thought people on YouTube would enjoy seeing. And I wasn't extremely passionate about some of the projects I was doing, so I thought to myself, you know, what the best thing to do is probably just get the tanks that I want, get the fish I want, which has led to me setting up this Frontosa tank. This Frontosa lived for 30 years. These are tiny. I'm going to grow them out, try and breed them. That's one of my long-term goals. I've had Frontosa in the past and they just got to breeding age and I had to move, couldn't bring them with me, but now I'm in a position where I can keep them again. So I bought them and these are going to stick with me, you know. So what I'm starting to do with my channel is I'm starting to keep the fish that I like keeping, keep the tanks that I like, keep the fish I like, and I'm just going to share that journey with you. I don't want to be someone I'm not. I don't want to be setting up projects and multiple tanks that I wouldn't keep if I wasn't on YouTube. I just want to share who I am and what I'm passionate about, and obviously one of my big passions is goldfish, so I'm tempted to maybe buy a few more. See if this is definitely a female. I'm thinking of getting maybe a male, but then I'll probably have to buy multiple goldfish to find one male, and I'd overstock this tank if I bought, well, technically just having this one goldfish in here is, this tank's maxed out, but I reckon we could get away with it with the heavy goldfish water changes I'm doing. Like I've drained it right down to here today and filled it back up, and that's what I do with goldfish. And then I talk through like the stuff that I do with goldfish, like the pellets, really strict diet kind of thing that I'll feed goldfish, and it's temperatures, like people say they're a cold water fish. You can't really see this now, but this is at 25 degrees. I feel like goldfish when they're at a cold temperature, like especially fancy goldfish, the digestive tract, the metabolism's too slow to digest the food, and people think that the goldfish is getting swim bladder, especially fancy goldfish, and it's not actually that. It's the metabolism isn't fast enough to process the food, so they start struggling with it, and then they start getting floating issues, and it's not genuine swim bladder. It's just, you can correct it with a bit of temperature and like less pellets, more live food, more fibre, like duckweed, you know, just stuff like that. And with these little guys, like I'm doing, rather than giving them one big meal every day, I'm like throwing a little bit of pellet in the morning, and like live foods, and getting a bit of frozen food in there, just little and often to get them, you know, growing. Got the temp at like 25, pushing a little bit more heat than, you know, a lot of people keep Frontosa at like 24. And now, to me, 24, 28 is the golden zone. I think like 28, the metabolism's the fastest, but there's so many fish that can keep in that like zone between 25 and 28, 24 and 28. And obviously I've got my Walstad, so this is a project I'm definitely really proud. Like these are going to stay with, like Frontosa live for 30 years. I'm never getting rid of these fish. Like something really bad's going to happen before I start thinking about having to get shut of these. Got my Blackwater tank, that's staying with me. I've got my Rio Nanny, another fish I've had in the past. Like I moved my Manica Peru on because I was trying to get a female, and it was working out dearer to get a female than it was to buy another colony and grow them out. So I thought, well, what I might do is just, and then when I got the price for what I could sell them for, I thought, well, I'm going to make a profit on these. So I moved them on and thought, well, I'll just buy another colony, grow that out. So I made a profit, and the colony of Rio Nanny came up, and I thought, well, I want them as well, so I bought them. You know, it's just one of them things. It's paid off for me to do it, and then once they grow out, I'll get a breeding pair out and get some Manica Peru. But I just want to keep my genuine passion, like goldfish, Frontosa. Obviously I've got some shell dwellers in here, and I'm kind of look like a pair in the shop, but I don't think they are a pair. They hang around together, but they're kind of separate in the tank. So not convinced of a pair. I'm tempted to buy another few to get a pair out of them, to get them breeding. And I thought, do I actually want Shelley's breeding that I know I won't be able to move them on. If it was able to move fry on, I'd be surprised. But in Frontosa, I want to breed them because that's a passion project of mine. Actually, if I'm honest with you, these, like breeding these, will be a passion project. So I might do, like, it's just getting shut to the fry. But definitely, like, these are getting grown out. There's 6 in here. It's a 5-foot tank. I've kept the sponge filters in here because they were cycled, and I've been dosing with stability. And I'm also running a canister filter. Now I always moan about canister filters, don't I, and bitch about them, but I want to move away from sponge filters. Like, they filter your tank, don't they? But like, there's loads of particulates. Like the water quality's not great, is it? And I want like display tanks. So I'm thinking of getting one of these. I'm thinking about getting a Tidal 110 Seachem hang on the back, putting that on here, because it's like a mini sump on the side of your tank, isn't it? So you can get in there and play with stuff and that. So I was thinking about doing that. I'm thinking of making this more and more of a goldfish tank. Like, I don't care if people are like, you know, it's just a goldfish and there's just a few muck guppies in here. Surprisingly, he doesn't eat them. He chases them but doesn't catch them. So, but I'm power feeding them. Like, I've got Lucky's Ranchu, guys. Lucky's Ranchu. Go and find him, guys, and watch some of his stuff. Show him some support. He's the cracking goldfish breeder. A bit further south from me in the UK. He's a really nice guy. Absolutely love his Ranchu he breeds, and he's got like the best food line. He knows all the ingredients of making really good foods, and you know, I feel like we should support him as a community. So this tank, the lights are off on this tank because it's siesta period. I'll show you what I mean. So where's my Walstad tank, and the lights are off. It's the middle of the afternoon, and I give it 4 hours of light in the morning, 4 hours in the evening, and it gets a siesta period in the afternoon. But I've tied a lot of other lights into it, so this room kind of gets a siesta in the afternoon. Apart from obviously this tank's got the Haiger light on it. Same with this has got a Haiger light on it, so yeah. Then in here I've got my Goyder River. I've moved half of them into my tank in the living room. But both these tanks, I want to shut these down. The shrimp tanks down here, I'm thinking of shutting them down. So I'm just thinking, in this room of having a goldfish tank, I want another goldfish kind of thing. I want male and female, so I can have a go at breeding them. Frontosa tank, grow them out, it's probably going to take about 3 to 5 years. And I want to get more into like talking about stuff, like topics with regards to stuff I've learned over the years with these fish. I could talk like loads about some of the stuff I do. I'm thinking about doing a big Walstad video discussing everything and just going through it, like explaining everything in detail but simply, so it could, like the video be quite long, but I'd break it down in layman's terms. There's cherry shrimp in here. I don't know where it came from. Like, I stripped this tank down, it was bone dry, and somehow it might have been on one of the sponge filters or something, but it just nails it around the tank. All the 300 or so cherry shrimp that were in here now in the Walstad tank. So I'm thinking about doing a big video, and then I've got my blackwater tank in my room, and I ended up putting my common bristlenose in that tank and some tetras because I just thought it'd look cool. So that's where we're up to. I'm thinking about shutting these 2 small tanks down, and the Goyder River tank, the 80 litre, putting that where the shrimp tanks are and using that to breed stuff. And then goldfish tank with my Sarasa Comets, I might get them outdoors and next summer, try and breed them. And then, well, I'll need to get another one first, don't I? But like I say, I do big water changes on that tank, so I could overstock it because like I'm smashing it with food and I'm doing massive water changes on it. And then this tank's staying with me forever probably. Like, there's something drastic would have to happen. My Walstad tank's my Walstad tank, and then my Blackwater, that's my Blackwater tank, that's another. So I've got 3 completely, if you think about it, like I've got a rockscape, I've got a plantscape, and I've got a woodscape. So 3 different types of fish keeping, and then me goldfish. That's my plan. And then a little tank to breed in. The living room tank's got me Goyder Rivers in at the moment. I'm not too sure what the plan is with them forever. That tank, like obviously I'll keep Goyder Rivers in me Walstad tank. I've got my Waponga red laser in there. I'll probably pop them in there too. Loads of, they're my plans. Shut most of my tanks down and have these more as display tanks, and then a little breeding tank rather than cramming all sorts of stuff in here. You know, I've done all the cramming loads of second-hand tanks into the space and breeding project grow out tanks. I've done that bit of the hobby. I do it for fish I'm really passionate about, like goldfish, frontosa, angels, plecos, but I wouldn't want that to be my whole hobby anymore. Like, I haven't got time to be like culturing tons of baby brine shrimp and feeding first bites and, you know, all that stuff. It's just maybe when I retire or something like that, like when I've got more spare time, I'll do it then, but not at the moment, guys. You know, I just want to do my hobby and like if I get shut of these tanks, it gets rid of 90% of the work, and I've still got like, what, 90% of the water volume. So take care guys, see you soon. Thanks for supporting the channel. Like, I absolutely love all the interaction, the subs, the likes, the comments, criticise it, tell me what you don't like about the video so I can make the videos better. I'm thick-skinned. I'd rather you, instead of you telling me, oh, your videos are amazing, if there's something wrong, if you don't like it, tell me, and that's the only way I'm going to make better content. I don't want to bore you, I want to make great content. So if something's boring you, tell me,